Our next speaker is one I've been looking forward to. It's Josh Leigh. And Josh is a digital marketer, campaigner, and activist based in Germany who has worked with a number of charities over the years as part of an agency staff and with people to raise awareness of climate change. And that is amazing. But also, Josh, during his time at Open, used to manage the coordination of speakers for IWITOT. And so this is going to be quite interesting. I think, he can dish it out, but can he take it? He was always very strict with speakers on how many slides they were allowed to use and keeping time. And it'll be interesting to see if he's managed to stick to his own rules. So I'll be keeping an eye on him today, and very excited to introduce Joshua Leigh. Woo.
Hi there, my name is Joshua Leigh. I'm a digital marketer, campaigner, and activist in the nonprofit sector. I've worked with nonprofits all around the world and based out of Australia, the UK, and now Berlin, Germany. You might know me from my time with some of the world's biggest charity brands, as well as the award-winning fundraising agency Open Creates. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can find me on all of the socials at LeeJoshuaEco. Right now, I'm working with Ecosia, the search engine that uses its profits to plant trees. Make sure to check us out if you want to help fight climate change simply by searching the web, something you do hundreds of times a day. But enough about me. Today, I'll be chatting about goats and Zoom, the video conferencing tool I'm sure you've come to hate. Over the last few weeks, the coronavirus has shut down public life, forcing many businesses to close and unfortunately, many animal sanctuaries too. But one tech-savvy farm in California saw this as an opportunity to get creative. Have a look at this for a second. You've probably seen a whole lot of screens like this over the last few weeks. In fact, you might be looking at one right now, but you'll notice something a little bit different about this one. Oh my God, it's a goat. That's right. For a donation of $100, Sweet Farm in California will dial one of their goats into your next Zoom call. It's called GoToMeeting, named after the video conferencing platform GoToMeeting, and it's taken the world by storm. And it's not just goats. For donations ranging from $65 to $250, you could have a goat, a sheep, some pigs, a few cows, a turkey, or the most popular choice, a llama, dial into your call. They're even offering virtual tours of the farm and virtual field trips for school children stuck at home. GoToMeeting really is one of the best pieces of reactive, innovative, and audience-led fundraising I've ever seen. First off, it's reactive, and it's reactive in two different ways. It's reactive internally because in the face of the coronavirus, Sweet Farm lost a huge source of funding. They rely on money from public visits and school trips, and the US lockdown really hit them hard. But they jumped straight into action, which is something that not every nonprofit can do well, regardless of how big or small they are. Not only that, but this campaign is reactive to the needs of a suddenly disrupted audience. Sweet Farm clearly had their finger on the pulse. They watched people's habits change, and they saw the sudden flood of people to Zoom, and they put two and two together. They quite literally put two and two together. They took two existing things, goats, video conferencing, and brought them together in a way that was surprising and delightful. And that's how the campaign is innovative in the purest sense of the word. They imagined a new way to use the tools they already had, and they got a minimum viable product or MVP to market as quickly as possible. And what's more, their donors didn't have to install or upgrade anything. They just had to do what they were already doing, sitting through hours and hours of mind-numbing Zoom calls. This is such a low barrier to entry and such a high reward for the audience. And that brings me to my third point, it's audience-led. Sweet Farm has delivered a fundraising product that truly taps into the zeitgeist and meets people where they are, not just by joining their Zoom calls, but by seeing where the audience is emotionally and offering the right kind of product at the right time. What's really clear is that this campaign isn't fueled by KPIs, OKRs, or target average gifts. It's fueled by empathy and creativity. Here is Sweet Farm's founder, Anna Sweet, yes, that's her real name, telling Business Insider why she created GoToMeeting. I think we're all a little stressed, she says. We're just hoping to bring some smiles to people's faces while bringing them out to the farm at the same time. And here she is talking about why she opened Sweet Farm to begin with. People get to meet the animals, she said. They get to understand that these are animals with empathy and intelligence. Again, where other nonprofits or corporates have struggled to remain relevant or stay true to their core purpose in the past few weeks, Sweet Farm has found a way to be more relevant than ever before and to continue to connect people to farmyard animals in exciting new ways. Anna and her team were immediately rewarded for their empathy and their creativity with donations as well as global recognition. The campaign has had loads of mainstream media coverage in titles like Fast Company, Business Insider, Mashable, and much more. And people on Twitter are going mad for it. They've fallen immediately in love with this sweet farm animals and are seeing this as a ray of sunshine we all need right now. Not many nonprofit campaigns can boast this kind of coverage or public response, and the exchange of value for both the donor and the charity is really, really clear here. But the big question is, did it work? Well, since launching just a month ago, Sweet Farm has fielded over 300 requests for animals to join goat-to-meeting calls, and it's not slowing down. And remember that the campaign is still in its infancy, having only gone to market in the past few weeks. But even if this campaign is a flash in the pan moment, it'll have raised loads of income and brand awareness and inspired other fundraisers to try innovative new things, not just when faced with a crisis. And that's why it really gets my goat that I didn't think of at first. Before I go, I want to end with a huge shout out to Sophie, the showcase of fundraising, innovation, and inspiration, without whom the charity sector would be a far less inspiring place. Not many people know this, but they're actually funded in part by donations. Now more than ever, fundraisers need to be at the top of our game to help keep vital services running for those who need them most. And Sophie are there to make sure that we've got the best tools at hand. That's it from me. Thanks for logging in and enjoy the rest of your IWITOT. I'm off to search for a goat for my next Zoom call. Bye.
Fantastic.
Fabulous.
Little message to Nikki and Simon. Where's our goat? I think
Is it?
I know. A goat or a llama? I've been happy with either.
Yeah.
I think we can bring in Josh.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, Josh. Yeah.
So yeah, shame we don't have a goat or a llama to join us on this.
Sorry, Joe. It's just me today. I did what I could, but it's just me.
So I noticed. I think I counted about 20 odd slides there. So so you're going to get.
Can we first just check the attitude out of Joe Burnett over here? Listen to that. Listen to that.
The shoe on the other foot for once. So you mentioned in the as we were chatting beforehand that was a last-minute change. Do tell all.
Yeah, let me tell you the story. Let me tell you the story as if it's really interesting. Put a pot of coffee on. This will take a second, but I had actually chosen a completely different subject, a completely different campaign, completely different charity. It was like a corporate partnership from 10 years ago. It was really interesting. But then the morning, I'd already written my deck. And then the morning I was about to record my video. I'm sat there having a sip of coffee, reading my emails. And I see this had hit the mainstream press, this story about a goat popping up in people's Zoom calls as goat to meeting. So I jumped straight on my WhatsApp to Nikki Bell and I was like, Nikki, this is going to throw a huge spanner in the works. I need an extension because I need to talk about goats. And Nikki was just like, go with God. You do you. This is it. This is the one. So it was legitimately a last minute, pull it together as quickly as I could. I had to use what I had to hand. So the benefit to this particular campaign is it's been covered so widely in mainstream press that all of the information was there. I didn't have time to contact Sweet Farm. I didn't have time to chase anyone. But it was just so timely and of the minute that I thought, you know what, I have to talk about this. This has to be, this legitimately is an idea I wish I thought of. And that is just phenomenal.
And that's a great sentence to say. Can you give me an extension? I need to talk about goats. That is, I love it.
Exactly what I said.
Everyone likes talking about goats. I was just wondering, do you know of any other organizations using similar techniques and campaigns to react to what's going on?
Not a single one. And I think it's not just nonprofits. And actually, this is something that at Ecosia we're trying to work out how our brand message can stay relevant as a nonprofit, but also as a tech organization, as kind of sitting in that place, how we can stay relevant to people who are currently experiencing lockdown, not just in the UK, but across Europe and across the world. So it's a real struggle to keep your brand relevant, but also to focus on your audience and to make sure that you don't like stray away from your core product. And that's where I think this campaign really, really wins for me, is that their core product was introducing people to goats. And all that they've done is said, you know what, we can't bring people to the goats, we'll take the goats to the people. The people can't leave their house, we'll do it on Zoom. Everyone's on Zoom. Like it just, all the pieces fell together. Yeah, I can't think of another brand that's doing so well out of COVID, non-profit, corporate, anything. I just think it was such a unique idea, and they're definitely seeing immediate success from it as well. So, sorry, I'm blowing up here.
No, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And you've mentioned that you're an activist in trying to combat climate change. What are the challenges that you're facing at the moment due to the outbreak of coronavirus?
You know what? I don't think it's just a Koja. I think it's across the environmental movement. Oh, sorry. You know what?
Is that like everyone like logging, like following you? Sorry, on like.
I'm getting a lot of tweets coming through, and I'm not going to read them because they could just be hate mail. You never know. It could just be heckling. I don't know. Sorry, what I was saying is it's not just a Koja, and it's not just the big environmental players. I think across the environmental movement, there's a real struggle to be relevant when, particularly in the UK, there's such a strong focus on the amazing work that the NHS and frontline workers are doing, and that is the correct thing to be talking about. I think in the US, actually, because my job, I market in a few different key markets, and I don't think any other country is really talking about their NHS or their version of the frontline services in the same way that the UK is. But ultimately, you need to make sure that you're not being tone deaf by trying to fit an environmental message. Sorry, one more. Fit an environmental message into the. I'm just so popular, you know. It's really difficult.
You're going viral.
You just don't want to force an environmental message down people's throats. I think there is a genuine connection between environmentalism and COVID. I think that there's a lot of positive stories about CO2 levels going down, and particularly what's happening with fossil fuels right now. I think there's so many good things to talk about and so many problematic things to talk about, but that's not what people want to talk about right now. And I think that is the struggle there. So at Ecosia and I think with other environmental movements, they're just trying to make sure that their messaging isn't tone deaf and is relevant and is what people want to hear. People want to hear about goats. I'm sorry to say, people want to hear about goats. If you're not going to talk about goats, don't talk to me.
Did you hear about the goats that have because there's a town in Wales called Llandudno, and because I probably did not pronounce that properly, but because there's nobody around, all these goats from the mountains around are coming down into the town.
As they should. See, that's nature taking back control. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Those goats, you know what they're doing? Those goats are racing to a Zoom call. They're trying to get the message out. That's what they're doing. They're dialing in with their hooves.
Exactly. Nikki has a question here. What do you love most about IWITOT, and how did it impact you during your time managing it?
Okay, this IWITOT for me, I don't want this to sound like I'm just saying this because I worked on the event for a couple of years or because I worked with Open, I worked with Ken and yourselves. IWITOT is so genuinely unique because what other sector celebrates good ideas? What other, in the sense, ideas you didn't think of? What other sector gives people a platform to say, I didn't think of this, but it's actually genuinely really good? When you go to a conference in fundraising, but in any other sector, the only events or only talks you really see are people talking about something they did that was really good or they did that they learned from. I think there are a couple of very specific events in our sector, particularly in the United Kingdom, and that's IWITOT, it's Pizza for Losers. It's those events where people actually get to talk very honestly or very candidly, but actually talk about other people's work as well. And IWITOT is just an amazing platform for that. It's been going for so many years because it is such a great concept and it still sells out. I'm sure it's sold out right now online. So I think we even managed to make it virtual. Like this is the sort of thing that will outlast us all. Like it's stunning.
Yeah, fantastic. And finally, just from me, Josh, you've obviously decamped from the UK to Germany, and we hear a lot about how Germany's done so well versus coronavirus in comparison to us over here. How's it going for you?
Look, Joe, I'm not here to brag, but we've done pretty well. We have done pretty well in this. No, I think we saw the effects of COVID a couple of weeks before you guys. So we went on to lockdown quite a while ago. I think I'm on week number 7 or 8. And Ecosia are we work remotely a couple of days a week, actually. So we were already set up to go into home office. So for us, we locked down a little bit earlier than most other offices in Germany. And as a result, we starved for human contact. it's been a weird kind of time. I think we're looking forward to potentially having the lockdown eased in the next couple of weeks. Until then, I'm on about 8 hours of Zoom calls a day, just talking to people. It's insane.
I mean,
none of them goats. Not talking to us.
Oh, well, that's a real shame, but hopefully you can get some goats in there soon.
Stunning.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Josh. It's great that you joined, that you took part. It's great that you. Oh yeah, there's a goat up there. Hang on.
Who's putting that goat? Oh, I love that goat. That's excellent. Is that Nikki behind the scenes tapping away with a goat? Love it.
No, yeah, I don't know.
More goats, exactly. Thank you so much, and thank you for being such a good sport and for doing IWITOT after so many years, being the driving force behind it.
No, that is it. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to do IWITOT. I've never had the chance to do it before, so this has been a really, really fun, amazing experience. Even though it was all so last minute, throwing some goats together, lastminute.com, it was worth it.
Did it.
Campaign. And you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks,
so nice to see your face.
Thank you, Val. Bye-bye, Josh. That was great.
That was good to see him. It's been so long since.
It was great. Yeah. It's been so long. Loved working with him. So it's a pleasure to see him again.